Montgomery County Sheriff's Office is recognizing law enforcement officers who have made the ultimate sacrifice.
4 officers have died in the line of duty in the New River Valley, and today the department and others gathered for an annual memorial service. 10 News reporter Shane Dwyer has the story from Christiansburg on how they're honoring those who didn't come home.
This afternoon, the Montgomery County Sheriff's Office laid this wreath here at the Public Safety Monument in downtown Christiansburg as a tribute to those who were killed in the line of duty in the last year across the country, but also as a special memory to the 4 officers who have been killed in the line of duty right here in the New River Valley. The bagpipes echoed off the brick walls at the intimate gathering on the Sheriff's Office front lawn. The 15th annual Fallen Officers Memorial Service is something Sheriff Hank Parton has always been a part of.
It means everything to me. There's not much more that's any more important than this.
Protecting me and my loved ones from all forms of violence and mayhem.
Retired Air Force Colonel Richard Rock Rozak was the guest speaker. Although he never served in law enforcement, he's lived a similar life.
We take an oath of office, and we also we serve with an unlimited liability clause in our contract, if you will.
4 officers have died in the line of duty here. Officers Terry Griffith and Scott Hilton of Christiansburg Police, Corporal Eric Sutphin of the Montgomery County Sheriff's Office, and Officer Derek Krause of Virginia Tech Police. Rozak says they and the nearly 150 officers killed last year across the country need not be forgotten.
We need to honor those people who have made that ultimate sacrifice for us. And you honor them by never forgetting who they were and what they did.
A gun salute and playing of taps close the program, but there's never closure on the pain the officers' deaths leave behind.
Well, it's something we will always do. It could happen to any of us at any time, and we need to remember that there are families left behind, grieving widows, children, moms and dads and brothers and sisters.
Next year will mark the 16th annual memorial service, and they're praying that not only across the country, but especially right here in the New River Valley, that they do not have to add any more officers' names to the list between now and then. In Christiansburg, Shane Dwyer, 10 News, working for you.